If you studied your electric bill like you studied your paycheck, you'd be rich. Knowing your energy usage across all the different energy sources and uses, you're looking at significant dollars. Electric bill, natural gas, propane, diesel, any of those other ones that you're paying also. These dollars really add up, especially when you're talking about many years into the future and you're adding those up and understanding what your future spend will be. Always surprises people when we take their electric bill, multiply it by 12 to get the annual, and then multiply it by 10. That's how much money you'll spend for electricity in the future. And it's going to go up. Make a smart investment and choose to cut your budget on energy usage and save thousands of dollars, maybe even tens of thousands. I'm Joel Robinson, founder, builder, pilot, and entrepreneur in Montana. I help people and businesses gain control of their energy by using renewable energy products like solar and battery. Okay, really knowing your energy usage across all the different types of consumption is really important to study and understand. And for some people, it's not that fun to do. But electrical usage in particular is one that takes a little bit of extra work because electricity is really hard to measure. Okay, a gallon of gas can go to the pump and put a gallon of gas in my gas can, and it's a liquid, and I can feel it. It's got weight to it, and I can put it in my lawnmower or my dirt bike, and I can use it. And I got this really nice correlation that helps me understand how much I'm using and how much that costs. But your electric bill is a lot different. You don't see electricity. You can't feel it. It doesn't have any weight. Although if you get shocked, you'll feel it for sure. But only we see how electricity is used. The lights are on. My battery operated drill works. I use the electricity for stuff. So I can see it in motion, but I can't touch it really. I'm not supposed to. Anyways, don't touch it. You could get shocked. So a gallon of gas, pay $3.25, $3.50, whatever it is, and put it in my dirt bike and ride around. There's a nice correlation there. So let's really dig in on the electrical side and try to understand the basics of your utility bill and how it's measured, how it's charged, and what it's worth. And what can you do with that power? Just to try and give us a fair comparison to a gallon of gas or maybe a gallon of propane for your grill, let's just have simple reference points so we can understand it. All right. So one of the first things we want to talk about is watts. Watts is this easy to understand method of what's power. And a lot of times I visualize a light bulb. Right on top of the light bulb is a number. And it says, for example, it's a 55 watt light bulb. So when I plug that light bulb in, boom, takes 55 watts. Okay. Producing light. I can see it. I've got an estimate on how many watts it takes. Can't quite feel it yet or know, but it does give us a good representation. So we turn on a light bulb. It's using 55 watts to power that light bulb, and I can see what it's doing. Now, there's a really important second element to this. There's active power, and then there's power over a duration of time. And this is how much total energy gets used. So if I run a 55 watt light bulb for 1 hour, I've used 55 watt hours or 55 watt hour. It's only one. This measurement of time, the little h, 55 watt hours, is really important. And that's what differentiates this active load of 55 watts. That's what it says on light bulb. It doesn't have 55 watt hours on a light bulb, just 55 watts. That hours component or time component can be any sort of time, minutes, months, something like that. Utilities use some megawatt month hours, but let's just talk about light bulbs. just to give us that basic understanding of how electricity is used in both real time and in over duration. Those are two separate things. Let's talk a little bit more about if I have two light bulbs. So a 55 watt light bulb, I put in two. So I have two light bulbs at the same time. It's just the 55 times 2 is 110 watts running at active load. Okay, if I run those for an hour, I have 110 watt hours. So it's really fundamental. Talk to this about people because it's abstract. It's hard to understand. Electric bill's hard to read. It's not the same as propane or gas. It's one thing that takes some time to understand and develop a skill, and will help interpret utility bills a lot. And ultimately, it's going to help us understand this future spend. This future spend on energy usage is so important to understand because it's not just what I'm spending today. It's what I'm spending over the next several months, several years, potentially, however long your time frame is. That varies for everybody. What I like to use is a hose with water spraying out as a good example. Okay, let's imagine we're in the backyard, got a hose and a blue swimming pool, little kids swimming pool. So that hose, you have a hose bib or a knob, and you can set it at variable different pressures. So I can just barely open up that water hose, a little bit of water just trickles out, or I can open it wide open and spraying out full go. So that active load I'm talking about, as far as a light bulb, correlates to how fast that water's spraying out of that hose. The more active load I've got, the more energy is being used and the more that's spraying out. The different part is the pool. Okay, so I'm holding a hose and spraying water into a pool. That pool is collecting the water, whether it's coming out slowly or fast. It's just a collection bin. And that is the hours or minutes or time frame that we're talking about. It's that total energy that's being used. The more water that sprays out of the hose, the faster, the more energy that collects in the pool, right, and accumulates over time. The less energy comes out of the hose, maybe just that little trickle, the less that collects in the pool. Okay, so let's try and give you something more concrete. Light bulb is a good example. Let's say I turn on a light bulb in the house, 55 watts being used. Okay, that's interesting, but not all that valuable. Let's turn on a second light bulb, third light bulb. Okay, the fridge is on, internet's on, coffee pot's on, all types of electronics are going. Okay, there's our active load, right? Hose is spraying more water out. And that's all the utility cares about, is those two things. What is your active load at any one time, and what's your total usage over a time frame? Okay, and that's what they're gonna use to bill. They don't know what appliances are running. They don't care. It's not their business to know. There's very few ways to know what's actually being used in real time in your home. That's something that's very interesting, and I'll talk more about that at length in the future. How do we know how much any one individual appliance is using? How do I know what usage is costing me the most? What's my most inefficient appliance? What should I get rid of, or what should I replace? Those are things we talk about quite a bit. And we will go into that a little bit more, but just this fundamental of reading the electric bill, understanding how much is used at any one time, which is usually a peak usage, and then how much is used over the course of a month, and then ultimately over the course of a year. Those are three really important things to understand. And reading that electrical bill takes a little bit of a skill, right? It takes a little bit of an understanding of how to read it, so that you know, okay, once you have a good feel for that, then we can start to talk about this future spend, right? So what am I using today? How much is going to cost me for the rest of the year? And then how much am I going to spend the next 10 years? Okay, so let's just go through a quick example to to understand that. And I'm going to combine all the energy sources, not just the electrical. So let's just use a quick example, $200 for an electric bill, $225 for propane or natural gas, $300 a month for gasoline, and then $100 on diesel, which is just some numbers I put out there. But I would encourage you to understand your own usage and just jot those numbers down real quick. So that adds up to $825 per month in total energy usage. Multiply that times 12, $9,900 a year in energy usage. Let's take that and push that out 10 years. That's $99,000 the next 10 years. So spend almost $100,000 in the next 10 years on energy. And it's not an asset. You don't get to keep that. You're not paying off anything of value. You're just, in most cases, just burning it up, which can be fun. I do love dirt bikes and off-road vehicles. So I'm not going to say I'm perfect. No one needs to think that at all. Just want you to understand this thought process, because when you go to buy a solar system or buy a battery system, buy an electric car, buy a heat pump, buy any of those things, that's what we're talking about. So for example, going from a propane furnace to an electric heat pump. Well, we're taking that propane usage and we're turning it into electrical usage. All right. We're not burning a fossil fuel and potentially causing harm to the environment or fumes around the house, anything like that. Instead, we're converting it to electrical usage, which is a little harder to understand. This skill of reading electric bill, understanding your usage, can really result in some cash. Anybody who is interested in learning how this works, I really encourage you to get my free calculator. I developed a simple spreadsheet, and I'll put the link down in the comments that you can download and just plug in some simple numbers to understand what you spend each month, each year on all your energy usage, and then multiply it by times 10 or by 5, whatever number makes sense to you. And then let's talk about how you can reallocate those dollars. What could $100,000 do for you in a solar system, or maybe an electric car, or a heat pump to save you money, and in some cases just to improve your living situation as well? I know how propane companies work, and sometimes those bills can be a little scary. The one thing I do know is that electrical usage is going up, and I do know that rates are going up. So you can count on rates getting more expensive in the future. And whether that's gasoline or propane or whatever energy source it is, I almost guarantee it'll be more expensive in the future. So if you knew of a way to lock in the price for your energy for the next 10 or maybe 20 years, I would highly recommend it. Pinning or securing those costs at a specific cost per energy usage is a really great way to reduce your expenses in the future. And we can talk more about this idea of making an investment to save money. It's a little bit of a hard concept, okay? Because that's what we're saying is we're going to make an investment in a solar or battery system or an electric car, and as a result, we're going to save money. So check out that calculator I put in the link below. Subscribe to the channel, watch my other videos, give me some feedback. Tell me the things that you're interested in, the things you're not.